is a number that should stop every insurance agency owner in their tracks. Only about 4% of Millennials and Gen Z say they would ever consider a career in insurance. 4%. And yet this is an industry that is staring down a massive wave of retirements, with experienced agents aging out faster than new ones are coming in. So what happens when an entire profession has a talent pipeline problem this severe? Someone has to build the bridge between the industry that needs people and the generation that has not yet been convinced to walk through the door. That is exactly what today's business has set out to do, and I am genuinely excited to tell you about it. Welcome back to the Next Biz Thing. I am Markus J. Diploma, and this show exists for one reason: to shine a light on the builders, the problem solvers, and the innovators who are quietly reshaping their industries, often without the recognition they deserve. Today, we are heading into the world of insurance, specifically into the unglamorous but absolutely essential world of hiring and training, and we are spotlighting a company called Total CSR. Total CSR bills itself as the #1 insurance agency training platform, and after digging into what they have built, it is easy to see why that claim holds up. This is a company built by agency owners, for agency owners, which matters enormously in an industry where so many training solutions come from people who have never actually run an agency day to day. Total CSR understands the real problem from the inside. Insurance agencies are bleeding time and money trying to onboard new hires, and traditional training methods just were not built for how a modern, younger workforce actually learns. So let's get into what they actually offer, because this is where it gets interesting. Total CSR's core offering is a platform they call HATS, which stands for Hire, Assess, Train, and Support. Think of it as an entire employee lifecycle system built specifically for insurance agencies, rather than a single course or a one-off workshop. On the hiring side, it helps agencies streamline recruitment so they are not just posting a job listing on a generic board and hoping the right person happens to apply. Then there is assessment, which gives agencies real tools to understand where an employee's skills actually stand, rather than guessing based on a resume or a gut feeling in an interview. The training component is the heart of the platform. Structured, curriculum-based education that walks new hires through every line of insurance business in a way that actually makes sense, combining real-world scenarios with the technical coverage knowledge the job demands. But instead of handing a new hire a binder and wishing them luck, agencies using Total CSR can put them through a guided, sequenced learning path that mirrors how people actually retain information. And finally, support, which is about retention, because hiring someone is only half the battle. Keeping them, developing them, and helping them grow into confident insurance professionals is the other half. And it is the half a lot of companies neglect once the initial onboarding is done. What makes this 4-part structure so smart is that it treats hiring and training as one continuous system instead of 4 separate problems handled by 4 different tools or vendors. An agency owner does not have to stitch together a recruiting service, a separate training vendor, a compliance tracker, and some kind of informal mentorship program. It is one connected pipeline, which means less friction, fewer dropped handoffs, and a much clearer picture of how a new hire is actually progressing at any given moment. Beyond HATS, Total CSR has built out a broader ecosystem to support agencies. There is License TreQ, a compliance software solution that helps agencies manage the notoriously complicated world of insurance licensing, so nothing falls through the cracks when it comes to renewals, state requirements, or tracking who is licensed for what. Anyone who has worked in insurance knows how easily licensing compliance can become a quiet liability if it is not actively managed. And having a dedicated system for it rather than a spreadsheet somebody updates occasionally is a real operational upgrade. There is also an AI-powered assistant called Ask Ellie, designed to give insurance professionals quick, reliable support exactly when they need it. Whether that is a question about a specific coverage scenario or a point of clarification in the middle of a training module. And then for agencies operating in approved states, Total CSR even offers continuing education credits built right into the platform, which means ongoing compliance and ongoing learning can happen in the same place, instead of being scattered across a dozen different vendors, logins, and renewal deadlines that are easy to lose track of. Now, what really sets Total CSR apart is the scale of trust they have already earned. This is not an unproven startup pitching a theory. Total CSR is already working with more than 2,000 agencies, including some of the biggest names in the industry. Firms like Brown & Brown, Hubby International, Heffernan Insurance, and Keystone, alongside a long list of regional carriers who trust the platform with something as important as their people. When organizations of that size and sophistication choose a training partner, that is a signal worth paying attention to, because those are companies that can afford to build anything in-house if they wanted to, and they chose Total CSR instead. And the results speak for themselves. Agencies using Total CSR have reported cutting training time by as much as 95%, getting brand new hires to full productivity in under 30 days, and saving somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 per hire in the process. Sit with that for a second. In an industry where turnover is expensive and slow onboarding compounds that cost even further, shaving weeks or months off the path to productivity is not a marginal improvement. It is transformative for an agency's bottom line. It changes the math on whether hiring a promising but inexperienced candidate is a risk worth taking. And it means agencies can say yes to younger, less traditional candidates they might otherwise have passed over simply because there was no efficient way to bring them up to speed. What I find most compelling about Total CSR, though, is not just the technology, it is the philosophy behind it. This is a company that recognized a deeply human problem, that young talent is not naturally drawn to insurance, and instead of complaining about it, they built the actual infrastructure to fix it. They created training that speaks the language of a younger workforce, support systems that keep new hires engaged rather than overwhelmed, and compliance tools that remove the tedious friction that has always made this industry harder to break into than it needs to be. One client put it simply, saying they had never seen anything like it in the marketplace, and another praised how the program breaks down every line of business in a way that actually makes sense. That is the kind of feedback that tells you a product is solving a real problem, not just adding another dashboard to someone's daily routine. Zoom out for a second and you can see why this matters far beyond just one industry. Every sector right now, from healthcare to skilled trades to financial services, is grappling with the same generational handoff problem. How do you take institutional knowledge built up over decades and transfer it to a workforce that learns differently, expects different tools, and wants a clearer path to growth? Total CSR is a case study in how to actually solve that, not with vague mission statements, but with structured systems, measurable outcomes, and technology that meets people where they are. That is the quiet revolution happening in workforce training right now, and insurance, of all industries, is proving to be fertile ground for it. If you are an agency owner who has ever felt the pain of watching a promising new hire struggle through a slow, disorganized onboarding process, or if you are simply someone who cares about how industries adapt and survive generational change, Total CSR is absolutely worth a closer look. Go check out what they have built, see the HATS platform for yourself, and take note of how thoughtfully they have approached a problem that so many companies simply accept as unsolvable. That is our spotlight for today. I am Markus J. Diplama, and this has been the Next Biz Thing. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I will see you next time for another story of innovation worth knowing about.